So a couple things. The first stock that we have, we're actually going to create a new watch list. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I think I can click this button. I can do a new watch list, and we're going to call this October week 4. And we're going to add the 3 stocks that we see the most value in for this upcoming week, or that we want to really just take a look at. So I added 4 because one of them is the same as Tesla. We have Tesla, and then we have TSLL. TSLL is the 2x leverage stock of Tesla. So a couple things. Let's take a look here on Semiconductor. And I'm just going to hide all of our drawings for a moment here. And what we have going on with Semiconductor, I really like this development that we're seeing here. And there's a couple reasons why. The first thing that we see is that Semiconductor has really been on a consistent uptrend. If we pull this back to here, we could see it's really just been consistently uptrending. You see this overall direction of Semiconductor. If we look on the resistance levels and the support levels, we could see it on both instances. So we got really this overall level of support. Does it mean it's going to reach that high right here and it's going to continue its direction in that way? No, I mean, not necessarily. But what we have here is some consolidation happening in the overall direction. And what happens when we see it push up above this SMA? Right here is where it pushed up above the SMA. And we saw it really using that SMA as a support, right? It was acting as a support. Now, Semiconductor is one of the semiconductor companies inside of this fund, the SOXL, which is an index fund made up of the most dominant and fastest growing semiconductor tech and AI companies in the world. So it's got NVIDIA, we got Broadcom. So just those 2 companies alone supply all the microchips for Apple, for Tesla, for Meta, for Google, right? So we're talking about really any big developments in AI that will require more microchips are going to come as a result, that computing power, from the semiconductor space, which is this fund right here. We've seen an overall direction of up. We saw it recently break below, and so now we're seeing this continuation that I'm anticipating will be a reversal. We're going to see it continue up. Now, Semiconductor is one of the stocks inside of SOXL index fund. So, of course, the growth may be more concentrated, and as this stock is one of the driving factors, I think it makes up about 5% of SOXL. It is a company that obviously would be more risky to invest in than investing in the whole index fund as a whole. But what we're seeing here is really an opportunity, right? There is, of course, going to be some risk, but when we look at the overall direction and where we could see it continue up, and the overall direction when we look at the indicators, is that we're looking a little bit oversold. RSI and the MACD were showing pretty oversold earlier this week. We could see this is a consolidation that it's been bouncing back and forth between this support. You see the support 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and this resistance. So anticipating it's going to reach up to this resistance, but I'm anticipating it's actually going to continue its upward direction. So what would that look like? Well, right now where it is at $71, let's say that it had its previous high up here of around $112, but let's just say, it gets up to $100, right? We're looking at a 42% increase in Semiconductor. So that's over a short period of time, really a month or 2, that we could see it reach those previous levels. So I'm going to hold, I just purchased on Friday this ON position, and I'm going to be holding this position throughout the week. And I have some risk management that I'm doing. But I'll keep you guys updated on how this one goes. So that's the other one. If we look at the trading session, it doesn't give you a portfolio performance or any of that. So that's going to be kind of the outlook. We also pulled in the Fibonacci on 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 this first stock. How do you do Fibonacci? Well, you look at the recent downtrend, right? This is the downtrend. We have lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower highs. And if we go here, we go to the lowest low and we go to where we believe it will be. So we're talking about it reaching really $100 a share. And we spread that out here. We could see that the optimal time to buy would be right around this golden ratio of 0.618. So if it's going to reach those previous levels. If it was only going to consolidate, then that optimal time would be right here, which we saw was an optimal time to purchase. And of course, that yields risk. If this was going to be the continuation of the pattern, that it was just going to continue to consolidate, then yeah, this is not the most profit-packed investment, right? But I believe it's going to continue its overall direction as a company. So we will see. So that is ON, okay? Now, Tesla. Tesla's a little complicated this week. We have an amazing move that we saw push up. We had it on our list this past week. It was down to $8 or what, $210, and it pushed up now to $270. An absolute monster of a move after reported earnings. And it's a tough prediction, right? Because right here, this sell-off was right after the robotaxi events. So it's like we have robotaxi selling off, then you have the actual earnings that the company was doing well financially, and now we have it push up fundamentals. So really adding resistance right now. If we look at Tesla, it's absolutely at this resistance that we've seen it struggle with in the past. It's even acted as a support right there, as you can see. But yeah, definitely here at a resistance. Does it mean that it's not going to break above? No, it's likely that it may test and retest and push up above as we've seen it do in the past. Do we think it's going to continue all the way up here in the next few days or months? It's quite possible. What would be more likely for this stock to take its direction in would be that it retests its trend, it retests, and then it pushes back up. So I would imagine that we're going to see a pullback. So as you can see, if we look at this trend here, if we were continuing the direction on the short term of what we see for Tesla, it would look something like this. Okay, and we can see it's actually right there, and we could see it pull back down, probably touch it's kind of like right here. We saw it push up tremendously, and what did it do? It had to go back down. It retested what was kind of the moving average, pushed back up, retested the moving average, and then broke below was bearish, and now it's definitely broken above that bullish pattern. Is it going to continue this absolute upward direction? Probably not, right? We're going to see it in most cases. I would imagine it's going to consolidate. The RSI is looking overextended. MACD is looking overextended. I would think it's going to consolidate here, maybe push down to this previous resistance that we saw that may act as a support. Do you guys see this right here? Right here. Could see it push back down somewhere in this range and then continue its upward direction. I could see Tesla continuing its upward direction and doing something along the lines of what we saw back here. I mean, this is kind of what you look for in a breakout stock, is this direction of you have a trend, you have some catalysts like earnings, and now you have an absolute tear. Now, Tesla really since 2020 when this happened, or 2021, it's been more of a healthy stock. Some people might say, well, it's been down. Will, what do you mean it's been a healthy stock? Well, it hasn't had these absolute crazy pushes that are just absolutely crushing it for a good month and a half. It's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down. And now, it's pushed back up, went back down, pushed back up. And now it's like, okay, maybe we're about to see Tesla continue its direction and continue this uptrend to start really seeing Tesla, what would be, in middle of next year, be back above previous highs. And that's kind of how I would see it. I would consider selling some puts, in the money and looking to just capitalize on that premium and get, some easy cash over the next year. Or even if you're confident, just outright purchase the stock. Now that's a nice swing trade, a more longer term investment that I think could be a nice push for Tesla. And when it comes to TSLL, obviously this is one that we trade in the short term. I don't recommend people hold. I've had quite a few positions. I capitalized on some of this uptrend that we saw earlier on Thursday. And so TSLL would be one that we'd want to look at. For example, if we see it pull back and then you see it go from this pullback to what we drew out to potentially back to where it was, that's a 30% increase. So we could see it pull back another 10% or so, and then, push back up to what would be a 30% trade. It's a very nice trade for any account, smaller trading account, or bigger account that could potentially be one of those investments that you'd want to manage your risk. You'd want to have a stop loss in place, but you'd also want to, look at the company as a whole. It's a great company, Tesla. I see potential, and I am bullish on Tesla for not only their technology, but really for the reality is that Tesla has one of the forefronts of the human race, which is they have SpaceX, they have AI development, they have Grok, they have social media, they have Starlink, right? You have X and you have Starlink. And you might say, those are all different companies. What does that have to do with Tesla? Well, the reality is that all of those technologies that are being developed on the forefront of SpaceX, of AI, of Starlink, those are all things that are going to tie back to improving and having proprietary, maybe not proprietary, as you know, Elon, he's open to sharing the tech with other companies. Like they have patents in place because investors like to have patents on their cars. But for most of the companies, they're open patent because Elon wants to encourage growth across the entire world in these industries. But when you have them at the forefronts of AI, obviously AI is going to play a role in Tesla. When you have them at the forefront of satellite internet with Starlink, obviously that's going to play a role in equipping all Teslas to have an unfair advantage. Most other car companies, they might have to pay for Starlink. They might have to pay for T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever, and do all these region to region deals to be able to have their electric cars run with AI and run on the internet. Whereas Tesla, Elon has complete access to Starlink, which is, this global internet Wi-Fi that's available anywhere in the world due to the satellites that are launched up from SpaceX and Starlink. So it's like, obviously we have an advantage there. So it's, when you look at those things in total, it's like, wow, massive advantage aside from, this push up and saying, oh, maybe it's going to pull back down. We also have to look at Tesla as, hey, we're at previous levels of $265 that we were at back in 2021. So it's like, is Tesla still valued at the same thing that was valued in 2021? No. Was it overvalued at this point? Possibly. Maybe the true value was down here around $185 a share. Right here, that's what it was true. But guys, it's been 4 years really since this time. So they've increased more than what we could look on the info line of from here to here. Their company overall has increased in value by more than 25%, right? Absolutely. And so it's like, it's been 4 years since then. Wouldn't we see their value continue to push up, maybe in the $300 to $400, maybe even $500 a share levels for Tesla? Absolutely. You see the robots, you see the Optimus. So I'm looking at these technicals and it's like, great, okay, we might see it pull back down if it continues its pattern. But also it's like, look at this as an investment that you could potentially buy and hold for a longer period of time, right? And that's how I would look at it. Of course, not investment advice, but that's how I would look at it. So guys, last one here is SOXL. Now, SOXL has some of the companies that supply for Tesla. So we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the main microchip supplier for Tesla, for Apple. Then you have Broadcom. So Broadcom is also in this index fund, and they're the main supplier for Meta and Google. So now you have all of these microchip companies. You got dozens of others, including On Semiconductor. But it's simply put here, guys, I think there's a huge trend in AI. There's a huge trend in needing GPUs, microchips, everything else. And so if we just look at the trend, right, we have higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Now we're here. Are we going to see a higher low up here? I would think so. I think we're going to continue our direction. As you guys know, I'm holding this stock at $34 a share. I purchased it on my Schwab account, and I purchased it back here. So right around here. And I've seen it go down. I've seen it go up. I see it really kind of consolidating the past 2 weeks, and I see it pushing above this SMA. It's already starting to push above this EMA, as we see on the shorter 1 day. That's a 1 day candle. And as it pushes up, I think we're going to see something in the movement that looks like this, except we're going to see it really continue a direction similar to what we saw here back from April all the way up to July. And I think we're about to see something like that, and we're about to see it push up to previous levels of $60 to $70 a share. And that's how I see it. I'm bullish on this one. Okay, so aside from that, we can look, I can look at the technicals, but really it's a fundamental play. We're looking at AI booming tech that it is going to make sense. But even if we look at the fundamentals, we drop down to the lowest point with our Fibonacci, we go to where we think it's going to be right here. I would imagine it's going to be up to here very soon. We can just take a look, right? This is the golden ratio, right? We got 0.618. This is the golden ratio that the Mona Lisa is drawn off of, and many other things. It's not just fiction, right? It plays a role in everything. And we see it here, guys. It bounced right in the golden ratio. It's looking like a purchase. That's why I'm holding it right now. On a good scenario, we see it getting into this level here in the $40 range, which we did see it get here. On a great scenario, we see it getting up into the $45 range here and really retesting that previous moving average. And then on an amazing scenario of, hey, we're in the AI boom, it's really continuing its direction, we would see it get up to here, really in that $45 to $50 range, which in turn, if we just kind of take a look at what that looks like on the info line, we're talking about 50% increase in a 1 to 2 month trade. And that's where I'm at right now with this stock. So we're up right now. We're about 2% up on this investment. That's what we're looking at. So guys, those are the 3 stocks for those of you guys that would like to get access to the complete watch list and watch me trade live tomorrow morning. Watch me trade live at market open. I would encourage you guys to simply take a look at StockMate. That's the second link in the description. You get to watch me trade live, get over 70 plus lessons of trading and investing, including the fundamentals and the technical analysis that you need to be able to succeed. And on top of that, you actually are getting into our group where we share our weekly watch list and all of the things that we invest in. You can surround yourself with other investors and traders as well. Again, it's that second link in the description, StockMate, for those of you guys that would like to get started watching me trade live. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.